Good afternoon, Tulip friends, and welcome back to the Tulip Chocolate webinar. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Arvid Yap, and I am the head of marketing for Tulip Chocolate. And I'm also today's host for the webinar, Secrets to Baking the Perfect Cookies, a Tulip Guide. So if you haven't already, please follow our Tulip Asia Instagram account and Tulip Asia Facebook page, where we will be posting a host of exciting videos and recipe content aimed to make you into a better baker and skilled chocolate user. So on the screen, you can see the QR code. You can simply use your camera and point at the QR code, and that will lead you to a link that you can visit, and it will direct you straight to our social media. So please follow us there. And I see here on our attendance list that we have a really full house today. This is probably one of the webinars that has had the most, or is having the most attendees. So we're very extra excited because of that. So today's webinar is presented by Chef Louis Tanuhadi, who is also the Tulip ambassador and author of the book Chocology. He's a well-known chef in Indonesia with over 30 years experience in the industry, and who's gained international experience in countries such as Germany, France, and all various countries across Asia. As a passionate chocolatier, he has also nurtured countless Indonesian chefs as well as international chefs over the years. So before we continue, just a few housekeeping rules for this webinar. Now, if you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the Q&A box. At the end of today's webinar, I will bring up all the questions that have been asked and directly ask them to Mr. Louis. Additionally, we will also share a survey about the webinar satisfaction that you can fill out during the webinar. So please do share your thoughts about what we presented today, and also give suggestions on future webinar topics that you'd like to see. So today we will talk about the topic, Secrets to Baking the Perfect Cookies. Now, we chose this topic because we found that there's a huge amount of interest when it comes to the demand for cookie baking. And here at Tulip, we always want to be as helpful as we can to as many people as we can. So we decided to devote a whole webinar to this particular topic. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Chef Louis Tanuhadi. Hi, Chef.
Hi, Arvid.
How are you today?
Good, but quite surprised and a little bit nervous because more than 357 participants already.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little nervous too, so I'm right there with you. Hey, Chef, the room is all yours.
Okay. Again, thank you, Arvid, for your time, and also for the Tulip Chocolate team who have been dedicated to always preparing quality webinars for many people. Honestly, I was very nervous when I saw that many participants were not only from the Philippines, but also from Malaysia, Brunei, Thailand, Vietnam, and of course Indonesia itself. And just now I read there's one participant from Middle East. Thank you very much for your time, yeah, everybody. Okay, so because I have a very long lesson today, so I don't want to waste the time because the topic that we will discuss is very long. Because I need to explore the process of making cookie, one of the favorite foods for many people. Okay, fasten your seatbelt and focus the information that I will explain. If there is any other things that you want to ask during the event, please write them in the Q&A. Later, at the end of the event, we will discuss together. So please, I need your help, Adi, to click the slide. Okay, we will start with understand ingredient function of the function of the ingredients. Basically, in the baking process, we must know the ingredients we will use. Without knowing what the function and use of the ingredients, error factors in the baking process will happen. Okay, so we can start with the slide number 4. The first I will discuss about fat. There are 3 types of fat commonly used in the making cookies. Commonly is butter, margarine, and shortening. Butter is a dairy product that is made from stir of milk or cream. The most commonly available on the market are made from cow's milk, although some are made from the sheep, goat, or buffalo milk. Contains at least 80% of fat. Unlike butter, margarine is not dairy product that is made a substitute for butter. The main ingredients are usually vegetable oil, water, salt, emulsifier, and some also include milk. Yeah. So, and then the last is shortening. Shortening comes from the word of the shorten, means is shorten, to cut the process, to reduce the process. So it is means shortening function is to inhibit the formation of gluten from flour. Like bread or cookies dough is mixed. So when you mix the dough, if you make a bread or you make a cookie, so the flour will perform of gluten. So if you using shortening, it will cut the process. Yeah. So shortening and its preparation are made from 100% fat, either vegetable or animal fat, or the mixture of both. Can be vegetable, can be dairy. So shortening is the difference between shortening and margarine is less in the their content. Shortening is made from 100% fat, while margarine contains water in it. And shortening contains absolutely no water, yeah. So 0% no water. Another visible difference can you see from the color. In general, margarine has yellow color, while shortening has white color. So it is more commonly known as a white butter. So the function of fat, you can read there, reduce the gluten development. The result of the cookie will more tender and less chewy. And then butter, if you use butter, will enhance the flavor, better aroma, better than margarine or shortening. And then incorporate the air when mixing between sugar and fat in creaming method. The cookie will be crispier. And then provide smooth and mouthfeel to the product. So you can choose, which is you can use butter, you can use margarine, or you can use shortening or mix. Okay, so that's the function of the fat. And then slide number 5. Next, sorry, sugar. The next ingredient is sugar. Likewise, there are various types of sugar commonly used in the making cookie. Generally, is a caster sugar, powder sugar, brown sugar, and also palm sugar. So it is different, yeah, between brown sugar and palm sugar. Sometimes people didn't see it is different. They think it is the same. Actually, it's different. Brown sugar is made from molasses without processing, and palm sugar from the palm coconut tree. Yeah? So the function of sugar to give the sweetness and flavor, and then to give moisture and chewier texture. Sugar contains molasses, and the molasses is always absorbing the moisture. And then brown sugar contains more molasses. So if you make a chewy cookies, it is better if you are using brown sugar. And then because of absorbing the moisture, so if you're making a chewy cookies, yeah, I recommend to using brown sugar in the recipe for chewy and soft cookie textures. And then sugar dissolves during baking. So the cookie dough will expand, spread easily. So if you make a cookie, the content of sugar less than, the sugar is less than the recipe that you have. A little sugar, what I mean, a little sugar content, the cookie will having more body. And then during the baking process, the sugar will caramelize. So giving the dough its color. So if you're having a little sugars, then the dough of the cookies will be pale. So, and then sugar is one of the natural ingredients for extending the product life, increase the storage shelf life. So the more sugar you use, the longer shelf life of the product that you have. And then as a creaming agent with fats and foaming agent with egg, in the process of whipping of beating the ingredients. So it is a creaming. So when you beat with the fat, with the egg, and then you will add the air, so then the product will be more crispy. That's the function of the sugar. Next, please. Flour. Flour is if I can imagine, like building a house. If you build building a house, flour is like a sand in a mixture of cement and stone. Without flour, cookies that you are made will not having a body, will have no shape. So that's why the function of flour to give you body, to give you texture. So the starch and protein in flour, if combined with liquid, becomes cookie structure. Okay, and then the chewy or crispy of the crumble texture, it depends on the protein content of the flour we are using. So usually in the cake flour is the protein content is 7 to 9%. And then for the low protein bread flour, is 10 to 12%. So I'm not recommend if you are using high protein flour, because the more protein you are using, and then the more risk that the gluten will be developed in your cookie, in your dough. Then your cookie will be more tough and more chewy. So that's the function of the flour. If anybody having a question, you just type in the Q&A, or maybe when I explain too fast, just let me know. Okay. Next slide, please. Now it's about the eggs. What is the function of the eggs? Number one is provide moisture and protein. And then the liquid bond with starch and protein, the flour will mix the cookie structure. And then the protein in the yolk. So the protein is only in the yolk, not in the white egg whites, but in the yolk, help to make a cookie chewy. And then the yolk contain natural emulsifier. This is what can bind liquid and fat. Because if you're using only fat, and then maybe you're having milk, for example, then it will be easy to separate. But the function of the egg yolk is like a natural emulsifier to blend all the ingredients together, and then provide volume and become lighter for cookies that usually beaten with egg whites. I have some recipe here. So if you whip with the egg whites, then the volume become lighter of the cookie. So that is the function of the eggs. Sorry, for the next slide, please. Salt. Salt is not only a savory, salty flavor, because people sometimes thinking, okay, I need to put the salt to make my cookie become having more tasty, more flavor. But there are other things that very important also. Number one, enhance the flavor. When you put the salt, then the aroma, the flavor of the cookie will be more stronger. And then salt also strengthens the gluten. The result is improve the chewy texture. So when you make a chewy cookies, don't forget to put salt in your recipe, and then extend shelf life. Just like sugar, salt also can prolong the life of the product. Okay, so that's the function of the salt. Next, please. So I will not reading all the information in the screen. I just try to explain what is the function. And then leavens. Leavens is one of the most important also. Why is leavens needed in making cookies? Sometimes people don't want to use it. Leavens, for example, is a baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, and baking powder. Baking powder is contain baking soda and two acidic ingredients, which is monocalcium prophosphate and sodium aluminum sulfate. So there are two types of baking powder, single acting and double acting. And then the other one is baking soda. So it is different between baking soda and baking powder. Baking soda, if combined with water and acid, will release carbon CO2. So the gas, the gas. So in the baking powder, there are two, single acting and double acting, what I mentioned before. So single acting, if you mix with water, will release CO2. But for the double acting baking powder, they will release the CO2 when they mix with water and after they have heat when you bake the product, then release CO2. So carbon dioxide is CO2. It is mineralizing agent. So, and then to give the color, browning color, and light cakey texture. So I already explained about single and double acting. You need to understand, if I'm making cookie, sometimes I don't want to using double acting baking powder. I prefer using baking soda or single acting. Why is that? Because in some type of cookie, I don't want with the cookie to expand too much. Because if I using a double acting, when I mix with between butter, egg, maybe milk, and then I put the baking powder double acting, then the CO2 is already developed. When you pipe on top of the baking tray, and then you bake 2 times, then double developing. So then your cookie become, you cannot control the size of the cookie. So I recommend you, if you are using only baking powder single acting, or if you difficult to get it, then you can using just baking soda, and baking soda can give you more color, especially if you making a cookie with spices, then will enhance your aroma, the aroma of the spices. So please, for the next, there are another additional ingredients. The main ingredients I already explained. It is butter, sugar, salt, and then eggs, and then flour, and then there is another additional ingredients. Um, we have discussed the main ingredients in the making cookies, and then what is additional ingredients? Commonly used are dried fruits, nuts, cheese, chocolate, and sugar royal icing. So what is the function? By adding these ingredients, it will be enriching the taste, adding aroma, beautify the cookies that we make, so more pretty the design. So you can see, I will explain one by one after this. Please, the next slide. Dry fruits. There are several fruits that can be dried and suitable when we mix into the cookie dough, which is cherry, apricots, orange, lemon peel, sultana, and raisin. It is different between sultana and raisin. So this is all dry fruits you can use for your cookie, for your recipe. Next, nuts. Most people like nuts, but you need to be careful. Many of us is allergic to the nuts. So actually, the combination between nuts and cookie, everybody love it. And then the nuts also you can use in the whole, or even slice, dice, silver, and even the powder, depending on the usage. Mostly we are using is almond powder or walnut powder for to give you more for flavor, more tasty in your cookie. For example, if I have a recipe 100% using flour, I reduce, become only 80%, and the 20% I mix with the almond powder or walnut powder or pecan powder. So give you more aroma, sorry, not aroma, give you more flavor, taste. That's the function of nuts. Next, about cheese. Cheese is one of the most popular ingredients in making cookies. Besides the savory taste, the aroma of cookies, if you mix with the cheese, will be very many people addicted with the aroma of cheese, especially maybe in Philippines, because I know people in Philippines, they love very much about cheese. If Indonesian people, they always love about chocolate. If a Philippine, I know that you love chocolate and cheese very much. If I come to Philippines, I always talk to tell to my colleagues there, Jem, please buy for me ensaymada. You know that I always bring so many boxes of ensaymada if I come back to Jakarta, because until today I cannot find the best ensaymada in Indonesia. I need to buy always in Philippines. The best enchilada in the world, I think. Okay, so next, about chocolate. Okay, chocolate. Who will say no to cookies that use chocolate? Chocolate chip cookies are one of the most favorite snack ever created. Do you know the story about the chocolate chip cookie? Actually, chocolate chip cookies is created in the year 1930 by a lady. Name is Ruth Wakefield something. Yeah, Ruth Wakefield. She has a restaurant in Massachusetts, America. One day she had an idea. She wants to make a chocolate cookie. So she has an idea to mix chocolate in the cookie. So, she wants to make chocolate in the cookie dough that she made because she wants to create a chocolate cookie. But because she was in hurry, um, she just chopped the chocolate bar because in that time in 1930 there is no chocolate chocolate for baking, right? So she just buy the chocolate bar. If I'm not mistaken, it's a Cadbury or something in America. So she chop it and she fold it, stir it into the dough, and then she think when the dough is baked, when the dough become a chocolate cake, a chocolate cookie. But she assumed the chocolate will melt, blend into the dough. But the result, the chocolate chop is not melt and become a delicious sensation in the cookies that she created. This is how the chocolate chip cookie were created. So that's the story. Now Tulip chocolate having several types of chocolate that you can use it in various chocolate cookie. Not only just a chocolate chip, but we can guarantee the delicious of the perfection of the result. You can create it by some of the product. For example, we having now the latest product is chocolate chunk. So it's the bigger size than the chocolate chips. Then give you more chocolatey taste. So we having a chocolate block or coating for dipping, chocolate chip or chunk for decorating and topping. So no need to chop your own chocolate bars like Lady Ruth did, yeah. And then chocolate filling. This is for filling inside the cookie. If you want to make a chocolate lava cookie, this is the best choice, yeah. And also the cocoa powder to be mixed in the batter. So please make sure there are two main types of cocoa powder in the market. So one is cocoa powder with 20 to 22% of fat content, and then the other one 10 to 12% fat content. If you want to make a chewy cookies, you need to use the cocoa powder with the higher fat content, 20 to 22. But if you want to make a crispy cookie, you need to using 10 to 12 fat content. This will produce a cookie with a different texture and taste. Okay, so next, royal icing. I will not explain very detail about this one. This type of cookie is a favorite for children, yeah, but it is required special skills in drawing it. I hate it to make this type of cookie because I'm not a good painter. I cannot drawing very good. So usually children love this type of cookie very much. Okay, next. After I explain about ingredients, now another thing is very important. Mixing method. We already understand about the ingredients. Now it's the time for us to learn how to make it. This is one of the important things about our webinar today. Please. Okay. One of the technique is creaming method. This is very basic. The creaming method is the first step to mix between fat and sugar until become creamy. Then you add the liquid gradually, not directly, slowly, and follow with the dry ingredients. Yeah, there is a secret here. Don't beat the fat and sugar too long, especially if you are using butter. And add the liquid gradually, not all at once. And then the other one, flour must always sift, yeah, Because what is the function is if you sieve the flour, in addition to avoid foreign particles, it also to provide air to the flour. When you sieve it, so air will be there, so the flour will not lumpy and easily to mix into the dough. Because never stir the dough too long. If you stir the dough too long, which is already with flour, will cause a gluten to form. When you cause the gluten from the flour, because the flour is having a protein, the protein, if you mix with liquid too long, then become a gluten. If you making bread, that is important. You need to create a gluten to perform the gluten. But if you make cookie, if the gluten too much, then your cookie will be too tough. Okay, so that's one of the secret. I give you the example how to make creamy method. Please, the next slide, sablé quinoa. So this is a very, very classic, it's very old cookie in the market. Name is sablé quinoa. So this recipe, you can write it or you can shoot, or maybe you can ask the material of the webinar to the Tulip team. I believe they will share it to you as long you already send all your email address. Yeah, go ahead. I will not explain this. Please show the video. Let's see how to make the sablé quinoa. This is the recipe. Okay, I stop. I talk too fast already. So that's a sablé quinoa. People always mention is butter cookie. So I recommend if you make this one, you need to using butter, don't using shortening. So you cannot claim butter cookie if you're using a shortening. So that's one of the secret how butter cookies is very aroma, very nice aroma. Yeah. So I have a little bit naughty thinking last time. I create cookie chocolate mendian. Do you know chocolate mendian? Chocolate mendian is very popular snack. Usually it's a chocolate drop, and then on top you put many 3 or 4 different types of dry fruit. Then I'm thinking last month, because I just want to make a joke actually, because my friend asking me, Louis, tell me what is chocolate cookie? Okay, then I said, what is chocolate cookie? Cookie chocolate or chocolate cookie? Then I said, okay, I give you chocolate cookie. Then I make a chocolate mendian, I put the sablé quinoa or butter cookies on top. So that's why the cookie chocolate mendian, I said, cookie chocolate mendian. So maybe this is can be your idea to having another type of cookie. So there's no video for this, because the video I already show you how to make the sablé quinoa. But for the next giant chocolate cookie, this is another recipe that I share to you how to make giant chocolate cookie. The recipe already there. Please enjoy the video. Show the video. So I'm using a chocolate filling mixed with the oil and then freeze it. You see, after I beat the butter and sugar, I add the liquid gradually, and then the flour I already always sieve it, and I mix the flour not too long. I add the Tulip chocolate chips. That's the most important thing. Without that one, you will be failed. If you're not using the Tulip chocolate chips, the cookies will not success. So I wrap the chocolate filling, and then I bake. See, this is the result. Okay. I hope this is quite clear for you. And then the next method is rub-in method. Rub-in method is how to blend the butter with other ingredients. We blend the butter not with sugar but with flour. Why we do this? Because I want to create a little bit gluten to form. Then the dough will be more elastic. Okay, so the technique, you just stir or beat the butter with the flour. After that, you can add the other ingredient like sugar or eggs. I show you the recipe after this, please. The rub-in method. So I'm not making cookie. I'm using the same cookie, the giant chocolate cookie with the chocolate lava inside. And then you see the chocolate marble lava cookie. There is the recipe there. I roll it. I make like a marble. The dough I divide it into two. One I'm using Tulip Bordeaux cocoa powder because I want the cocoa powder very tasty. I'm using the 20 to 22% fat. Then I mix and then I roll it and I wrap it to the cookie. Then when I bake, you can see the product is like a marble, and then when you open the chocolate filling inside is like a lava. Many people love this product, especially chocolate mania, chocolate people who love chocolate very much. They will appreciate this product. Okay, this is the chocolate marble lava cookie. Please for the next. So the next method I call spong method. Why I call spong method? Because I whip the eggs by whisk become a foam, and then after I have the meringue, because I'm using egg whites, not egg yolk, become a meringue. Then I fold the other ingredients. So you can see how the technique how to make to give you more clear understanding how to make the spong method. Please the video. This is biscotti, one of the product I'm using. Recipe there. If you want to see how to see the video, you can share the video, please. I'm using egg whites. Biscotti is one of the favorites for many coffee drinkers. The best pairing with bitter black coffee. The process of making a little bit complicated, but worth for the results. Yeah, I make a meringue, egg whites. I whip the egg whites with sugar. Become thick like this, and I fold the flour. I'm using pistachio and almond, and also the most important thing, Tulip chocolate chips. can slice very thin like that one. Very thin. And then you bake for 100 degrees for 15 minutes to make it dry. That biscotti, Italian cookie. So for the sponge method, there are three products that you can use. I mean, not the way. You can using whole egg method, so using egg whites and yolks together, or using a separated egg method, using egg whites and egg yolks separately, or using just meringue method, only using egg whites. That I'm using for the biscotti. Same thing with the next video, next recipe. I make macarons. This is very popular. Why I put the macaron recipe here? Because always until today, I got so many requests. Louis, please tell me, teach me how to make the right macarons. Because macaron is very popular, but many people always fail how to make the right macarons. Because macaron is not meringues. You know, meringue must be dry, but the good macaron, the surface must be dry, but the inside should be soft. And then you see the macaron shell, you need to having shell. Why is that? There is a secret. I will explain you while you watching the video. The secret how to make good macarons. So I make macarons. I'm using Italian method, Italian meringue methods. Number one, you save the icing sugar, almond powder all together. And over then, you put the egg whites and look, I'm not using spatula, but I'm using scraper. Many people sometimes they're using a wooden spoon or spatula. No. Okay, then I boil the sugar into 118 degree. This is I call Italian meringue. And then I pour the sugar slowly. That's the Italian meringue. Again, looks. I'm not using spatula, but I'm using scraper. So what it is, what the meaning of macaron? Macaron is, it means scrap. You need to scrape the bowl, scrape. Then you can having the texture like that. Because if using spatula, it is mean the butter will be so fluffy. Then when you bake, there is no flake. Okay, after that you must bang and then leave it for 20 to 30 minutes before you bake. You see, when you bake, you will having a good leg. And then this is how to make ganache. I'm using honey ganache. So you can using Tulip bittersweet couverture. Or this one I'm using MC, one of the other products. So this is macaron. So the good macaron, like I mentioned before, the surface should be dry, but the inside should be soft. Okay, very moist and soft. This is macarons. So let's learn another method. So all-in method is the easiest, the last technique. Just put all the ingredients and we mix it together. Usually we do the technique when we're making the short cookie or a pie crust. Just beat all together. So I give you the recipe. So another joke that I created. I teach my friend. I make jokes here. When she asked me the recipe of chocolate chip cookie, because she asked me, Louis, please give me the recipe of chocolate chip cookie. Then I asked, how many chocolate chips do you want? And she said, so much. That's only feels that like I'm eating chocolate, not eating cookie, but like eating chocolate. Then, okay, so this is the chocolate chip cookie that I made. 90% chocolate and 10% cookie. I make the cookie first. using all-in method. So I blend all together and then I roll the dough, and then after that I bake. And then I'm using Tulip dark chocolate compound. I melt it. Then I give rum. Okay, I give rum a little bit because chocolate is fat and rum is water. So the two ingredients, if you mix together, then the chocolate become thick. So when I mix the chocolate with rum, the chocolate become thick, and I pipe on top of the big cookies. So this is the result. Then I said to her, this is the correct chocolate chip cookies. And my friend cannot complain. Then what you say, this is chocolate cookies or cookies chocolate, I don't know. So this is something teasing for them. But for me, maybe because many people love chocolate, maybe this one of the new ideas you can try to give to your friend, something a crazy idea. And then they said, where you can buy this size of the chocolate chip, because I cannot find the chocolate chips big like this one. You need to make it by yourself. Okay, so this is the latest recipe, the last recipe, chocolate chip cookies. Next, beyond of the ingredients, I need to explain for you about the tips and knowledge that we should to know. Okay, stirring is an important part when you are making cookie. You need to understand how you stir, how you stir the product. The temperature of the dough, especially if you are using butter, please use the butter in the temperature around 20 to 22 degrees Celsius. Because if the butter is too warm already, the oil separate, then the result of the dough being too soft. And when you bake, there is no body and no structure, and the product will be hard or brittle. Also be careful when you stir too long. The temperature of the dough will be raised and will melt the butter and also the form of gluten on the form. In the flour, sorry, the form of the gluten in the flour. So another trick, setting the distance between the placement of cookie on the pan is very important. So don't put the cookie too narrow. You need to give distance. Why? Because when you bake the cookie in your oven, especially if you're having a small oven, the temperature will not bake your cookie perfectly. So that's why you need to give a good distance, yeah, not too short, because sometimes the cookie is will affect the materiality of each cookie individually. So how to say? I mean, yeah, please give a distance, not too narrow. That's the most important. Okay, next. And then the baking time and the temperature are also very important. Each recipe and each cookie dough has different time and temperature. Sometimes many people make a mistake. For example, I give you recipe, please bake 120 degree. Please don't trust my recipe. Why I said don't trust my recipe? Because if I mention 120 degree, because I'm using my oven, but I don't know with your oven. Maybe your oven is 110, or maybe your oven 130. So you need to understand your oven, okay? Because every oven having different time and temperature, okay? The other thing is cooling cookie after baking is one of the most important things. Never pack your cookie when the temperature is still warm. This will result in the cookie become soggy or growth of the mold after a few days. Because if your cookie you pack too warm and then the moisture is still there, then you will create mold after several days. That's another thing. And then for even baking temperature, use an aluminum pan. Sometime in the market, I saw many product, the baking pan is not using aluminum, but they are using stainless steel. Yes, it is good, clean, nice to see, but I don't like it. Why? Because stainless steel is very hot. Then if you having stainless steel, you need to having a line on the baking sheet with a baking paper or baking mat. So the heat of the pan does not come into direct contact with the cookie dough to avoid the burning of the bottom surface or the surface of the cookie. That's very important also. Okay, next. Characteristic of cookie. Now we learn about the characteristic of cookie. What is the difference and how to make it? Crispiness. Many people love to having crispy cookie. Want to make your cookie crispy and crunchy? The most important way is setting the baking temperature and time. The baking temperature must be low and the time should be long, so that all the moisture in the dough will evaporate, so the cookie will be crispy and crunchy. So the cookie, crispy cookie actually is very popular in Indonesia and Thailand. Before in Indonesia and Thailand, everybody love crispy cookie. The chewy cookie or soft cookie, I think getting popular in Indonesia just less than 2 years. Even Thailand, I'm quite surprised last year when I bring a soft cookie to my friend there, and then my friend tasted and they said, you don't know how to make cookie because your cookie is so soft. Cookie should be crispy. And I said, oh, come on, you don't know the trend today. But in Philippines, I believe everybody knows about chewy and soft cookie already. Okay, that's the secret. Click. Chewy cookie. This is the opposite of the baking crispy cookie. The temperature must be high and the baking time should be short, so that the surface of the cake is already caramelized because of the sugar, but the moisture content in the dough still high. Besides that, the high sugar content, especially molasses, will also help absorb the moisture into the cookie. So if you want to make a chewy cookies, I recommend you to using brown sugar or palm sugar. If you have in recipe 100% using caster sugar, you can reduce 20% and replace with the brown sugar or palm sugar, because brown sugar and palm sugar is very, to help to absorb the moisture into the cookie. So your product will be more chewy. That's one of the secret. Next, soft cookie. This is similar to chewy cookie, baking method and recipe. But for the soft cookie, a lot of liquid content. And then for the sugar content, you can replace by liquid sugar content. For example, you are using glucose or honey. You add glucose or honey, then the other thing is the thickness of the dough is also important. So when you bake in the short time, there is still a moisture in it. So that's why your cookie will be soft cookie. That's the characteristic. Next. Shaping method, there's another thing I need to explain to you. There's so many shaping method. You learn how to shape it. There is a bag and then mold and then roll and then drop. You can read by yourself. This is the how to shape. There are many things here, from pipe, bag, roll, ice block. You know the meanings of ice block. So when you make the cookie, you make a cylinder and then you put in the freezer until really hard, then you cut it. So usually this product cookie is a diamond cookie. You know the diamond cookie, so it's like a coin, and then there is a sugar on the surface of the cookie. Usually it's a butter cookie, diamond cookie, and many other ways. Yeah, you can see that there. Okay, next. Cookie fail. Sometimes people always asking me, cookie fail. Why my cookie like this? Why my cookie like that? So you can read by yourself there. This is a question that I get most. let's look the problem. No need for me to read it. You can read it. If necessary, you can write it down, or maybe you can take a picture. Oh, if I'm not mistaken, we will share this webinar to everybody. So no need for me to explain, right? I'm thirsty now. Almost 40 minutes I'm talking. So you can read by yourself. So this is slide, the next slide. The spreading expansion. This is one of the important thing. You need to calculate the ingredients, very important. Sometimes the ingredients which is too much will cause a problem that the cookie that we are making, spreading, because sometimes the recipe is not balanced. Please, next slides. Okay, when you use too much ingredient, for example, if you using too much butter, this is the result. If you using too much flour or too much baking soda, too much sugar, so this is some of the result. So after today's lesson, I hope that my explanation can give you quite clear and detailed. Sorry if there is many of my terms that are not unclear because of my dialect pronunciation. Yeah, sorry, because sometimes it's difficult for me to say it in English. So thank you. If you have any question that I will hand over to the moderator, Mr. Arvid. Thank you very much. So we can having a Q&A after this. Thank you.
Thank you, Pa Louis. Thank you, Chef Louis. Wow, I actually learned a lot about cookie baking from your presentation. And I hope you all also received a lot of valuable information as well as inspiration, for you to try and experiment on the cookie recipes and baking methods that were covered in this webinar. So now it's time to my favorite part, because now I get to talk as well. And it's time for the Q&A session. So I will open up the Q&A box and I'll read out some of the questions that we have received. And by the way, my goodness, we've received well over close to 100 questions. So fantastic.
I cannot answer everything.
Well, in total, right? But yeah, it's increasing. Okay, so let's get started. So the first question from Miss Christine. Hi, are we really not supposed to prep any ingredients for this class? Oh, okay. I think I can answer this one. I think this webinar is mainly more of a sort of like a theoretical knowledge session rather than an actual baking course. But perhaps in the future we can give an actual demonstration, right? But for now, this is not really a demonstration session where you follow along, right? Okay, and then the next one is from Ms. Shinta. Okay, it's an Indonesian question, and let me see if I can translate this correctly. For premium cookies, should I have to use more butter than any other ingredients to make the cookies crispier?
Can I answer like this one? Why people prefer using butter? Not because of crispier, but because of the aroma and because of the taste. Okay, I give you. Can I mention a brand name here?
Of course.
Product. Okay, because for example, there's a very popular, very well-known chocolate chip cookies from America with the blue color packaging and round. Okay. This is not made from butter, yeah. They are using shortening. They are using shortening because when you're using shortening, you will have it more crispy than butter. So if you're looking premium cookie, but you want the crispy, then you can using shortening. What the meaning of premium? If you want to make your cookie more premium, then you need to use Tulip chocolate for the inside of the chocolate chips.
Exactly.
Then
use a better chocolate, right? Use a better chocolate. Yeah. Agreed.
If you want to having aroma, then you need to having butter, using butter.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. Next question from Joshua. Can chef make a webinar on ratios and ingredients? Well, I think most of the recipes today, actually, by the way, just to recap, you will get the presentation of today that we've showed in the webinar today. You will get this sent in a follow-up email. So then you can see the actual exact recipe ratios and grammages in there. So yeah, we can move on to the next question. Okay. When it comes to tulip chocolate, which tulip chocolate stays melted in cookies? So I guess when they say stays melted, it means stays kind of sort of liquid, right?
Yes, you can use the tulip chocolate filling. One of my recipe there, I'm using a chocolate filling. So chocolate filling will stay melted in your cookie.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because the natural state of chocolate filling is already liquid, right? So yeah, so that's one. Okay, so that's that. How to make cookies? Oh, okay.
Crispy.
How to make cookies and keep it crisp and crunchy all the time, and how to store them. And I guess what they're asking is how to make crispy, crunchy cookies and how to store them so that they stay crunchy and crispy.
So I can answer how to make your cookie crispy and crunchy. Actually, I already mentioned this is about the baking time. About the baking time. So number one, you can using ingredients. Don't using butter, but you are using shortening. Why? Because shortening 0% water. In butter and macaron, still there is a water inside, 3% to 6%. But the shortening, there is no water. Okay, number one. Number two, baking time. It is very important. Number three, using just sugar. Never using palm sugar, never using brown sugar, because palm sugar and brown sugar is always absorb the moisture. Okay, and then the most important, yeah, you need to having proper packaging. You need to close very, very tight, because the issue in Asia, not only Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, the humidity very high. Yeah. But if you're having cookie, for example, you make by yourself, or maybe you buy, and then after a week or maybe 2 weeks, you not finish it very fast, and then your cookie is starting soggy, you can put in the oven in 5 minutes in the 100-degree temperature, then the moisture will out. That's one of the way.
So when it comes to packaging, you mentioned earlier a little bit about that. Does it need to be an airtight container, or what? Or can it be Tupperware? What do you suggest, Chef?
Yeah, should be airtight container. Can be Tupperware, can be anything. But now in the market you can find the oxygen absorber. So that's one product. So that's why if you buy cookie, there's sometimes like a small plastic with a blue color. So this is the oxygen, not oxygen, moisture absorber. So you can put inside your container.
So a moisture absorber, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, it's like a little pack, right?
Yes, a little pack with
a that you put inside the
white, like a small envelope.
Yeah, got it. Okay, good tip. Next question from Rini. So, what is the best fat for cookies so that they stay crisp?
Yeah, I answer using shortening.
Using shortening, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Next question. From Paulo, can I use buttermilk powder in the cookie dough? Will this make it taste my cookie more creamy?
Yes, if you are using shortening, or if you're using margarine, because shortening, yes, some of the shortening is from animal fat, but the aroma, the flavor is not very milky. So yes, you can put milk powder, but to give you more aroma, more creamy.
Okay.
But if you're already using butter, I don't think that you need to put more. Too rich.
It's too rich. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, before we continue, earlier in your presentation, you mentioned something about hygroscopic. What does that mean exactly? What does that mean? That's more of a question I had myself.
Hygroscopic in which slide? Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay, you know what? Don't worry. We'll get back to that later. Yeah, no, it was something I saw in your slides, but I'm sure.
Hygroscopic mean the absorb the water, right?
Okay. So it means to absorb water. So I guess when it absorbs water, it stays chewy, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, so that's why brown sugar contain a lot of molasses, and the molasses is hygroscopic, always absorb the moisture. So that's why I said if you want to make a chewy cookie, you can using brown sugar or using palm sugar. But if you want to make a crispy cookie, don't put brown sugar in your recipe.
Got it. Okay. Okay, great. Next question, Christine. From Christine, how can we make cookies that are crisp on the outside and chewy on the inside and will not harden after a few days? Oh, okay, I see. So but what they're asking is how can they make a cookie that stays crisp on the outside, chewy on the inside, but also not solidify, after a few days? How do you keep it with that chewy texture?
Yeah, number one, your recipe should be a lot of sugar content. Number two, the thickness, very important. So you cannot make a thin cookie, should be thick cookie. Okay. Number three, thin cookie. You can using molasses, liquid sugar. You can add molasses, you can add glucose, you can add honey. They're already dry, but the inside still have a lot of moisture. So that's why the surface will be crispy, but the inside is soft.
Okay. Got it. Next question from Joshua again. Okay, interesting question. This one, have you ever used like a low carb sweetener for cookies? Because right now the trend is everything low carb, right? Have you ever used one of these low carb sweeteners, and how does it work? In terms
yes, it is possible to replace the normal sugar with the sweetener, but you need to do some trial because I have very bad experience. Last time I have the recipe with the carb sweetener, but when I try to make my own cookie, I don't have the same brand. I'm using another brand. Okay, when I put in the same so that's why you need to check. Do some trial. But it is possible to change. But you need to do trial.
Okay. So basically, just trial and error, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless some packaging already mentioned on the packaging, they always mention 7 times, 12 times sweeter than normal sugar. Then it's easy for me to do calculation, because if not mentioned, then it's difficult.
Okay. Okay, got it. All right, good. Next question from Chef Vinda from Jakarta. I would like to ask, if we have the recipe for chewy cookies, how can we make it into crispy cookies, and how to make the cookies last for a long time, for about 2 months? Well, I think we partially already answered that question, right? So how to make it from chewy to crispy is using different sugar, right?
Sorry. If your recipe already chewy cookie, then you want to become crispy cookie.
Yeah, how do you do that?
It is mean you need to change the sugar and then the baking time.
And so longer baking time, right?
Yeah, longer baking time. But the sugar is the most important thing. You need to change if the recipe already contain brown sugar, then you need to change with the normal sugar. For example, using a caster sugar. Again, you do trial and error, because caster sugar is sweeter than brown sugar.
Okay. But there's granulated white sugar and caster sugar, right? When it comes to cookie baking, what is the better one to use?
I don't like granulated sugar for sure. I don't like granulated sugar.
Why is that?
Well, I prefer caster sugar. Why? Because if you're using granulated sugar, then you mix with butter, you need longer time. Because if only a short time, then the sugar is not properly dissolved. If your sugar is not properly dissolved, when you bake, then the surface of the cookie become a lot of white dot like. Yeah, because the sugar is not dissolved, so that's why a lot of white dot, and then the cookies will be hard.
So what? Okay. So just to rephrase, so yeah, that actually makes sense. If you're using granulated sugar, because it's a larger rock, right?
Yeah.
It takes longer to dissolve, and then that gives a white dot residue on your cookie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do you make it last for like more than 2 months? You know, like what is it? Just is that again using more sugar, because sugar is like a preservative as well, right? So
for sure, if you want to make a long time cookie, more than 4 months, more than 2 months, you cannot make soft cookie or you cannot make chewy cookie.
okay,
Because chewy cookie and soft cookie, especially soft cookie, a lot of liquid. Chewy cookie still can, but soft cookie cannot, because a lot of liquid, it is mean a lot of moisture. A lot of moisture, it is mean very easy to get
bacteria, right?
bacteria.
Okay. So when it comes to soft cookies, what do you recommend is the allotted time to store such a cookie?
Soft cookie, no more than 2 weeks for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially in Asia country, because of humidity.
Got it. Okay, great. Next question from Miss Virginia Chan. Hi, chef. Can I substitute vegetable oil with butter? Because wait, the question just disappeared. Right, hold on. Let me just find it back.
Yeah, you can change vegetable oil. Vegetable oil, it is mean is margarine. Margarine is a vegetable fat.
Okay. Okay. Fine. And then a question from Imelda Wong. I noticed that oil was not included in fats. Does that mean you don't recommend the use of oil in cookies?
I have some recipe using oil in cookie. I have some recipe. Yes, sorry, I forgot to put oil in the recipe. But some recipe, if I'm using oil because it's liquid, I cannot do so many creativity, because the cookie will be don't have body. What I mean don't have body, because oil you cannot whip it. So it is mean only flat cookie.
Okay.
But if you want to make, yes, you can. But for me, oil, just oil, and then you fold with sugar and with flour, and then you having a cookie, and you having the to expand the body. So it is mean you need to having baking soda.
Okay.
Can you can using oil.
Okay. Another question from Joshua Marie Lopez. Is the protein percentage for the flour on the side is per 100 grams?
No. It is not per 100 grams. This is the, I'm not saying in weights, but I'm saying in percentage.
Percentage, okay.
Yeah, so 20 to 20%. Sorry, the flour. No, 22. It is a cocoa powder. But the flour for the low protein is a 6 to 8 usually. Medium is around 9 to 10, and then a high is around more than 12%. So it is percentage, not weights.
So on that note, when it comes to the amount of protein that is in a flour, what does a higher protein content actually do for the cookie?
For the cookie, usually we never using a high protein flour. Maximum is medium, because the highest protein you are using, is it possible? Yes, but when you stir, you need to remember, when you stir too long, then the gluten will perform. When the gluten perform, your cookies will be too hard.
Okay.
Of course, you want to having a nice cookie, right? Crumble and then a nice to bite, not
But
too hard.
does the protein make the cookie hard
Yes,
or okay?
yes, the protein. Because the protein, when you stir with the liquid, become gluten, become elastic. Different with
Ah,
bread.
okay.
If you are making bread, you need to having high protein. So
Yeah. To
when
make it
you mix,
elastic.
become
Yeah.
elastic.
Yes.
Then because of the CO2 raise, then you having a very good shape of bread. It's different.
Wow. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, great. Next question. That actually I learned something there. Next question from Paulo. Is all-purpose flour okay to use to make a chewy cookie?
Yes, yes, you can use it. All-purpose flour.
Okay.
Actually, all-purpose flour is what is all-purpose flour? Actually, that is a medium flour, but they add baking powder already inside.
Okay. Oh, it's got baking powder inside already.
Mhm.
Ah, okay. Great. All right. Next one from Miss Christine Utomo. What will happen if we let the mixed batter too long before baking?
Depend what kind of ingredient you are using. If you are using butter and then you make in the cold room, your kitchen having aircon, no problem. But if you having a product and then your kitchen is too warm already, then it is mean your cookie dough starting soft and then there is no air into the dough. Then when you bake, your cookie become spreading out, become bigger size and become
Oh,
flat.
it expands, right?
Yeah, expand. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, okay. Yeah, I've actually done that myself. And when I bake cookies, it started sticking together like as if it's one big cookie, you know? Yeah, yeah,
Unless you
okay.
are using margarine, margarine is okay,
Okay, okay, okay.
more stable.
All right. Next question from Weena Windari. So, for diabetic ingredients, which one would be best, palm sugar or brown? Okay, for diabetics, which is best, palm sugar or brown sugar? Maybe
Uh,
no sugar, right?
no sugar. But
um,
for me, sorry if I answer you you're wrong, yeah, mistake, yeah. But I think palm sugar better than brown
better,
sugar.
yeah. Why is that?
Brown sugar, because what is brown sugar? Actually, brown sugar is from molasses also, same with normal sugar, but without process, without bleaching. So that's why we call brown sugar.
Okay.
But palm sugar is come from coconut. So that's why I said maybe, yeah, because I'm not really expert about diabetic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe we need to ask a doctor, right, about this.
Yeah.
um, okay, okay, great. Next one from Mr. Donald. Any different result
For egg,
for egg? Yeah, at
yeah,
room
room
temperature and
temperature and
egg
egg in
in
the
fridge.
fridge.
Yeah.
If you're making cakes, the best is room temperature because because in cold eggs when you whip will not expand. You will not get the higher volume. But for the cookie, not really different.
Okay. So
Mhm.
cookie baking doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Okay. Great. Next question from Angie. Good evening, chef. How long is the usual shelf life of soft baked cookies? Well, I think we answered this, right? No more
Yes.
than what was it? 2 weeks?
For me, no more than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Depend of your ingredients.
In a airtight container, right?
Yeah, even in an airtight container.
Okay. Okay. Great.
I'm avoid the
Yeah.
bacteria.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Great. So airtight container, no more than 2 weeks. Yeah. Next one. If I want to make soft cookies, is it true to use high protein flour beside using brown sugar to help its chewy and gooey taste?
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct. Yes. Why? Because high protein flour, a lot of protein, it is mean when you stir, the gluten will perform, then your cookie will chewy.
yeah. It makes that stretchy kind of,
Yeah,
yeah, like in bread,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Great. Great. Next one from Miss Emanuela. What is the important combination or things that will make cookies more softer inside, but very crunchy and chewy on the outside? Oh, is that even possible?
Um, yes, possible,
Yeah.
but your product cannot more than 2 days.
Ah, okay.
Because the crunchy on the surface, it is because of baking time, right? But because a lot of humidity inside, you can enjoy in the first day. Second day is already gone. Become soggy for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
The best combination is baking time and sugar content.
Okay. All right. Next question. What ingredients and conditions for baking cookies make it flatter and bigger? I think when they say bigger, they mean expand, right? So,
Yes. Flatter for sure, you stir too long, especially when you beat the butter too long. Then your cookie become too soft, the dough become too soft,
yeah.
and then when you bake, gone already. I mean, become flatter and bigger because of the air. When you add baking soda leaven, then the baking soda become CO2 and then raise, so that's why it become bigger.
Okay. I think this person wants to make indeed a bigger cookie. So, like that's kind of a trend now, right? Those giant cookies. I think we've done that.
So I make a bigger cookie. The recipe, you can follow the recipe of the giant cookie that we have in the video, right? We can share it to you.
Yes. We're actually we've already filmed our giant cookie recipe using our new chocolate chunk chocolate, and we'll be releasing that very shortly. So you'll be able to get some inspiration from there. Okay. Okay. Next question. Okay, how do you improve taste of nuts when you put in cookies? How do you improve taste of nuts when you put? Oh, you bake the nuts first, right?
Yeah, never put your raw nuts directly into the cookies. Never.
Okay, never put raw nuts in cookies.
You re-bake first. So, for example, you chop the peanuts and half bake. Just give the brown color. Then the aroma will come out. When after cold, then you can fold into the dough. Then you will have more aroma, better than raw nuts. That's the secret.
You know, whenever I make pesto, I do the same. You know, usually pesto you use pine nuts or nuts, right? And I usually toast the nuts in a dry pan. So you get aroma, and then I blend it with the cheese and everything, right?
Yes.
Same thing, right? Yeah. Okay, got it. But I guess could you also coat the peanuts in sugar first and then put it in the cookie? Can also.
No need.
Oh, no need. Okay.
No need.
Got it. All right. Next question from Sophia. Oh no, not Sophia. From Jeremiah. Oh no, it is Sophia. Sorry. When we include ingredients for a cookie flavor, such as peanut butter or cream cheese, is there a standard measurement or standard ratio of these ingredients to the basic cookie recipe?
Basic cookie recipe. Which one basic cookie recipe? Because
there's so many, right? Depends.
Yeah. Because there are three. If you follow my presentation before, there are three ways. Sorry, not three ways. Several ways to making. For example, you blend the butter first. If you blend the butter first with sugar, so you can put peanut butter or cream cheese quite high percentage. But if you make something like biscotti, you whip the egg first. You cannot put peanut butter or cream cheese too much because too heavy. Then your cookie will collapse.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
So you need to understand first. I mean, which basic cookie recipe? Which one?
Yeah. And by the way, we will send out just a reminder. We will send out the presentation, which with the exact recipes, and so which you can then use to experiment. Okay, next question from Jeremiah. If we use processed cheese, usually is more moist than natural cheese. Okay, how to produce crispier cookies with processed cheese? Interesting.
You don't using what do you mean with the processed cheese? Because
I guess processed cheese, you know, like processed cheese is like Kraft, right? And
Kraft is a brand because cheese processed cheese. For example, there is I have one recipe. I can share it with you. Maybe using why suddenly I'm blank. If you making if you eat pizza, then you pour the powdered cheese. What's the name? Why suddenly I'm blank? If you eat pizza, then on the table you put something cheese powder.
Yeah, like Parmesan.
Yeah, Parmesan.
Parmesan.
That's what I mean. Parmesan. Oh, sorry, I suddenly
Yeah.
blank.
But that's not processed cheese, right? That's
I know. That is not processed cheese, but because you're asking for the crispier cookies.
Yeah. I think what they mean is like, like the pro cheese, Eden cheese, or Kraft, because it's got those singles, the Kraft singles.
I know. What I mean, because they asking, Jeremiah asking how to produce crispier cookie, because in the processed cheese is already a lot of fat.
Yeah.
A lot of fat, a lot of oil. So how to mix crispier?
Well, basically, don't use processed cheese, right?
Yeah, that's why I recommend using Parmesan.
Parmesan.
Then you can use Parmesan.
Yeah. Use the actual cheese. Okay.
Then you will having crispy cookies with nice cheese taste using Parmesan. That's what I mean.
Yeah. So it's a premium cookie. Okay. Next question. What is the difference between compound and couverture chocolate?
Okay, the easiest way. Compound is made from vegetable fat. Couverture made from the cocoa butter fat. That's the easiest.
Yeah. And I guess couverture also requires extra work, right? You need to often temper couverture chocolate, right? But and by the way, you can go and visit our YouTube channel where we have tempering videos on how to do that step by step. Okay. Next one from Elsa Fridayanti. In creaming process, which one is recommended? Using the butter or fat in cold temperature or room temperature? Interesting.
Okay, this is very good question.
Good question, yeah?
Yeah, good question. Why? Because what do you mean with room temperature? Room temperature here in my room with the aircon, 22 degree, or room temperature in your kitchen without aircon, 30 degree.
Yeah.
Or maybe you make it in Manila, or you make it in where's the place?
In Thailand or
in Thailand, maybe near the beach, 35 degree. So what is the room temperature? Okay, this is a good question. That's why. What the meaning of room temperature? Room temperature, it is mean 22 to maximum 24 degree.
Okay.
That is room temperature. Okay, so my answer, which is recommend using the butter fat in the cold temperature or room temperature, my answer is room temperature 22 to 24 degree. Because if I said cold temperature, when you take off the butter from the fridge, maybe 10 degree, right, Celsius, or maybe 5 degree, because from the fridge, when you beat too hard, then you will not get the volume. The air cannot come in.
Yeah.
Because too cold.
Okay.
So 22 to 24 maximum.
Okay, great. Next question from Latanya. Can we just skip the vanilla paste? What is the effect if we use the vanilla paste or not?
Just the aroma.
Just the aroma. Okay. Okay.
To give you better aroma.
Okay. So no functional difference, right?
More premium.
Okay.
More premium.
So you can charge more money, right?
Yeah, you can charge more money.
All right. Good. What flour is best to use for cookies? Here in the UAE, we most commonly see flour number 1. It's very hard to find cake flour, self-rising flour, or wheat flour. Or if there is, it's more expensive. Okay. Or if there is, it's more expensive than flour number 1. Does that make sense to you?
For me, what is the best to use for cookie? Using medium flour. Because I don't know about in UAE flour number 1, number 2, and then in Malaysia they said brand, in Indonesia they said chakra, kunci, it's very difficult for me. So for me, very easy. If I go to another country, I'm not asking about the brand, but I always say soft flour, medium flour, and not hard flour.
Okay.
So for the cookie, the best is medium flour. That's it. The protein content cannot more than 12%.
So that's what it means, right? When it says medium flour, right?
Yeah.
No more than, okay.
Soft, medium, and hard.
Okay.
Hard to make bread, soft to make cake, medium to make cookie.
Okay. All right, great. Then next question. Is it better to use the fan setting in the oven when baking cookies? Oh, okay.
Depend. If you want to make crunchy cookie, very dry cookie, the best is using fan setting.
Okay, so dry cookies.
Because the fan can blow the moisture.
Ah, okay.
Mm.
Okay, got it. Okay.
But if you don't have fan setting, then how to do it? You bake in the deck oven with a low temperature to make a crunchy cookies, and then the last 5 minutes you open the door of the oven, and then you put wooden spoon or something. So you open the door maybe 3 or 4 centimeter open wide, so all the moisture will come out.
Oh, that's a really good tip. So you just put a little ladle in the oven, yes? Oh, that's a good tip. Okay, nice.
For the crunchy cookie, yeah?
The crunchy, yeah. Okay, great. Next question from Marivik. First, thank you for conducting this webinar. Oh, you're very welcome. I'd like to ask if it is better to cream the dough by mixer or by hand with spatula or whisk.
Cream the dough, okay. Number one, cream the dough, it is mean you beat the butter and sugar, right?
Yeah.
To beat the butter and sugar, honestly, I prefer with mixer because I don't want to sweating.
So use machine, yeah?
Yeah,
rather than hand,
machine.
Yeah.
But you use spatula or whisk when you fold the flour by hand.
So if you want to fold, then you use the whisk.
Okay. Why? Because when you fold the flour, if you're using machine, then the machine will knead. You know the knead.
Yeah, it will knead the dough. Yeah.
Then the gluten will perform.
And when the gluten performs, it becomes stretchy, right?
Yes.
Yes, and then you get a more, softer. Cookie. Okay. See, I'm learning. Okay, next one from NG. Hello, chef. How essential is vanilla extract, paste, or beans in cookies? Is it okay not to use it?
Like Mr. Arvid just mentioned, if you want to sell your product more premium, you need to
use vanilla.
Vanilla.
Yeah. Okay. So it just depends on how much you want to charge and what kind of extra dimension you want to give. Yeah. Okay. Sophia, why is the creaming method the often suggested method than the melted butter and margarine way?
For me, because I want to give texture. What I mean texture, when you beat the butter, so it is mean you fold the air. But if you see melted butter, so there is no air anymore. So it is mean you only rely on the baking soda, on the leaven. But if you beat, so it is mean you put air, right? But if you're using melted, there is no air. Then it is mean the cookie will rise because of the leaven or because of the temperature. Then you don't have a good texture. Your cookies will not crunchy, not crunchy. It's not renyah. What is renyah in English? Is it different between crunchy and something that easy to melt in your mouth? But okay, I hate when I take a cookie already destroyed, already broken in my finger. But I love to having cookies still good shape. But when I put in my mouth, because of my saliva and because of my teeth, just Wow,
Oh,
this is nice.
it breaks apart when you put it in your
Yeah,
mouth, right? Yeah.
easily.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
some people make a cookie very easy to broken.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
take from the jar, it's already broken in our finger. Then
Yeah.
oh
It's very
man,
crumbly, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
very
Okay.
crumbly. I don't want to make a very crumbly, but still good shape. But when put in the mouth, because of your saliva and teeth, that's
Okay.
the best.
Got it. Got it.
So that's
Another
why I
question.
prefer to beat the butter and sugar to put more air. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Great. My gosh, the questions just keep coming. We still have 100. Okay, which is great. You know, this is fantastic. Um, Another question from SD. What is the difference in using the paddle attachment and the balloon whisk in creaming the butter?
Okay, the paddle is to beat, the balloon is to put air,
Okay, the balloons to put air.
to creaming the butter. So if you want to having, for example, if you want to make a butter cookie, and then your butter cookie will be, you want to make very soft, very easy to crumb in your mouth, then you can use the whisk. But if you want to make your butter cookies more the shape more strong, then you can using paddle.
Okay, got it, got it. Next question from Tiffany. Is there any big difference if I use home and hand mixer in the creaming
No, no,
method?
no, no, no,
No?
it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Because if you have a hand mixer, the most important thing you put air in the uh, creaming butter. Actually, is only the cookie typical for butter cookies
Okay, okay,
creaming method.
okay, got it, got it. Next one from Andrea. Can I use powdered sugar for cookies?
Powder sugar for cookie, yes, you can.
Can, right? Is
Uh-huh.
that the same as oh god, what was that name? For this powdered
Okay,
sugar
if
and castor sugar, is that the same or
different.
different?
Castor sugar is sugar with a very little granulate. Powder sugar is like powder. It is really like a powder.
Ah, okay, okay.
But you need to make it clear. Sometimes if you buy powder sugar in the market, some of the baking store they already mix the powder sugar with cornstarch. Why? Because
Okay,
they want the sugar is not easy to compact.
okay,
So that's why if you want to buy the powder sugar in the market, if you got the sugar powder already lumpy in the packaging, I'm happy. Why? It is mean that the powder sugar is uh, pure, not content cornstarch. Then I will
okay,
save it at home. Because if you are using powder sugar already, there is a cornstarch inside, then it is mean reducing your sweetness, the sweetness.
okay, okay. Got it, got it. Uh, okay, and then Tiffany again. And around which temperature is the butter should be to start creaming? Out from the fridge 15 minutes, a little soft, or which one? Oh, okay. So what is the ideal temperature for the butter to be when you do the creaming process?
The butter, I said 22 to 24.
Degrees, yeah?
Yeah, for
Okay, okay,
Celsius.
okay,
For the butter, yeah. But after creaming, yeah, maybe will increase. I mean, the temperature will heat up, right?
okay,
Maybe 25, 26.
okay, okay. And then from Ivy, how to achieve that melty chocolate in the cookies? Oh yeah, we had a recipe on that, right?
How to achieve that
That melty
melty?
chocolate. I think what they mean is that gooey chocolate, you know, because you know when you usually put chocolate chip cookies or chocolate chips in cookies, it still has that bit of a
I think
bite,
how
right?
to achieve the melty chocolate in
Yeah.
the
So
cookie. So it
yeah,
is mean like the lava. You
the yeah
using
yeah
tulip chocolate
exactly
filling, the
chocolate
tulip chocolate
filling.
filling.
Yeah yeah
Yeah.
chocolate filling. That's the answer.
Mhm.
The brand name is Tulip. Okay, next one from Rose. What is the brand in Indonesia for low, medium, and high protein flour? Oh, yeah.
Sorry, okay. The most popular one, I'm not promoting Bogasari, but I need to
Bogasari.
mention low is a kunci, medium is segitiga, and high is chakra.
Chakra, okay.
Sorry ya, the other factory, don't agree to me, I only mentioned Bogasari. That's the common one.
Yeah,
Kunci, segitiga, and chakra.
They in Indonesia they have different colors, right? There's a blue, light
Yes.
blue. There's a green one, and then
Yeah.
there's another blue one. I think.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah. All right. Um, from Fatima, hello chef. Is there any difference in the cookie result between using an icing sugar or caster sugar? Oh yeah, I think we already.
Oh, for sure, there is a difference. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We answered this already. Yeah. So we'll just go to the next one. Okay, from Sobat, I noticed for biscotti, you wrap.
Sorry, Laxmi there.
Oh
Laxmi
yeah.
On
How to determine the best method for a cookie recipe? Suppose it we only know the ingredients. How to determine
you want to know which method that you are using for the recipe. You need to understand what kind of cookie that you want to make. For example, if you want to make a macaron, then it is mean you need to make the spong method, or you make a biscotti spong method. If you want to make butter cookies, no choice. So it is mean you need to beat the sugar first. Beat the butter and sugar first, right? Because you want to having volume and air in your dough. But if you want to make, for example, short cookies or maybe pie crust, then you can using all method. Because the all method, you mix everything together, then the product, the dough will be more stronger because of the gluten. Then the cookie will not easy to break. But this type of the cookie is for rolling cookie.
Okay. All right, great. Then the next question from Sobat. I noticed for biscotti, you wrap the tray with aluminium foil. Why do you do that?
Maybe after you see the video, you can see clearly actually the tray that I have is hollow.
The tray is hollow.
Not a normal tray. I don't have the bottom. It is a ring. It is a ring.
Oh, okay.
I don't have the baking tray with that size. This is a ring actually. So that's why I wrap with the aluminum foil, because I don't want when I pour the mixture, then will be leaking, right? So that's why I put with aluminum foil. But if you're having the baking tray with already having the bottom, yeah, no need lah, just grease it.
Yeah. Okay, got it. Next question. If my soft cookies taste cakey, what could possibly cause that? Cakey.
Gluten perform.
Yeah.
Gluten perform when you fold the flour too long.
Okay. Next question from Christine. Do we need to age the egg whites for the macaron? Do we need to age the egg whites?
Yeah, sometimes I don't need to age the egg whites because I'm using Italian meringue method. The Italian meringue method is you whip the egg whites and then you pour the boiling sugar. But some people always teach me, Louis, if you want to make meringue more stable, then you mix to using yesterday egg whites. Yesterday egg whites, yeah, we call the egg whites, more stable if you use French style. French style, it is mean you just whip between egg white and sugar directly. Then the meringue will more stable. But in the macaron, I'm using Italian style, Italian meringue. So boil the sugar and pour it. So no need to age the egg whites.
Okay, got it. How to make crispy chocolate cookies? Last time I did it, it is hard when it just come out of the oven. But after one day in tight container, it's gone soft.
Again, if you want to make crispy chocolate cookie, the problem chocolate cookie, if you are using cocoa powder is very good absorb the moisture also. So you you need to use shortening. Because when you're using cocoa powder, you're using butter, it's a very good combination to absorb the moisture. So that's why when you make one day in a tight container, it's gone soft for sure because of the cocoa powder and butter. And then the cocoa powder, you need to using the Burgundy type product of Tulip. So the fat content only 10 to 12%.
Okay, okay, got it, got it. Next question from Cynthia. What's the major problem when you bake soft baked cookies but don't get the texture of soft baked cookies that you aim for? And you get that, okay. So basically they're trying to make soft baked cookies, but instead they become crunchy. Is it because the baking time inside the oven is too long, or what could it be? Yeah.
Because the longer time you bake, the more moisture will go on, right? It is mean your temperature too low.
Okay, okay. Okay, that makes sense. What's the most common mistake people make when making French macarons?
The most common mistake when they fold the meringue with the almond paste. Okay, when you see the video, I make the almond paste. Number one, I make the almond paste. How to make it? The almond ground, sugar, I fold together with the liquid egg whites. Become a paste, right? And then I mix the meringue. You can make French meringue, you can make Italian meringue, you can make Swiss meringue. It is your choice, no problem. But never fold like you fold making a cake. When you're making a cake, you need to fold very gentle because you don't want you lost the air.
I see.
Right?
I see.
But using macaron, you need to having scraper. Like I show you in a big bowl, and then you scrape like this, scrape like this. So the meaning of macaron is scrape to knead into the bowl. Then when you scrape, you knead, the air will gone. I'm not saying 100% gone, 100% gone is fail, but you reduce the air. Then when you bake the product, you will having the surface is crispy, but inside is compact and then moisture and soft. Because sometimes I eat macaron, wow, nice shape, nice design, but when I crack, inside is hollow. This is fail.
So hollow macaron is fail. Okay.
Too much air.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Next question. Is the all-in method ideal for chewy chocolate chips?
Yes, can do.
Yeah, can?
Can.
Okay, that's a quick answer there. Okay, yes, can. Okay, next one. What causes the cookie to spread, and is it okay to mix different flours?
What do you mean mix different flour? You change the flours, or what?
Maybe they mean
what causes the cookie to spread? Two things.
Yeah.
You beat too long, and then the sugar content too much.
Too much. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess with sugar, when it melts, it becomes that sort of thick kind of like burnt sugar, right? Like caramelized. Yeah. So. Okay, next question. Sometimes I buy cookies and it feels sticky on the tongue. Is that because they use shortening?
They are not using shortening, but they are using margarine.
Margarine, that makes it sticky.
Margarine will sticky in your tongue. Okay. Shortening, good quality shortening will be nice.
Okay.
Okay, I tell you that everybody, good time cookie, I mean the American one, the blue color, that's using shortening.
Okay, okay. So I guess it depends what kind of mouthfeel you want, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. How to make cookies like Subway, flat, big, and soft. What are some suggestions for that? Oh, I've never had a Subway cookie, but have you?
Yeah, like Auntie Oni or something. Yeah, same what I said. Number one, you need to having shortening using not butter but using shortening because lot of sugar content. Sorry. I delete. Sorry. You want a flat, big and soft because I remember different. The anti-onis is different with Subway. Anti-onis is small and very crunchy. That using shortening. But Subway, the most important, you need to add glucose or molasses into your recipe to make soft.
Yeah.
Big
so you
and
mentioned
soft.
about like the brown sugar, those kind of like.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, we have about 5 more minutes to answer our last couple of more questions before we need to close up. And don't worry, we will answer the rest. Well, I see there's still 80 questions. So Chef Louis, we may need to make another video recording you answering all these questions to save you from typing everything, you know.
I just after this experience, maybe we need to do, if you agree, Arvid, because the team, Tulip team is very nice to support everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe we can make a special webinar like this in the first question. Then maybe everybody, we can share the recipe all together. So tomorrow we will make a giant chocolate cookie. Then we mention this is the recipe. Then I will do the recipe and then everybody prepare already. Okay, we beat together. And then when I show how to mix and everybody already making together at home.
Oh,
So
okay. You mean
live,
like a demo,
live,
like
not
a
just
live,
listening like
a
this
live.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, live. But everybody need to create the together. We make together.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, sure.
This is something nice.
Yeah, we can definitely try that, right?
So everybody can follow, right? I'm not using a big mixer, I'm using a hand mixer, and okay, until that one, it is a similar what you have in your house.
Yeah. We can definitely try that. Yeah, that'd be a great idea. Yeah.
2 or 3 recipe maximum.
Yeah. And perhaps a recipe that doesn't require long oven time, you know?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have to wait a long time, right? In the webinar. But we can use that time to answer questions, right? So, okay, great. Last couple of questions. What are your thoughts on browning the butter for baking cookies?
Browning the butter for baking cookies, actually, I have some recipe for that to give you more aroma, nutty aroma. But the texture, everything will be different, but only for the nutty aroma. Okay. Usually the browning butter is usually using for making financier cookie. You know financier? So financier using browning butter.
Okay. The one that looks like a gold bar, right?
Yeah. I like the sorry, Mr. Arvid, for the Marie Charchu, for the chocolate chip cookie, the question should be the chill before baking and can be baked immediately, blah, 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 blah. So maybe we can arrange one day we make the brownie cookie, you know, the brownie cookie. We having the brownie cookie, right, with the very nice cookie. Maybe we can do next time. We share the recipe and then everybody making together with me.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Let us know if you'd be interested in doing
let us know
something like a demonstration together with us. Yeah. Okay, I will go into the very last question. Does it make a difference if we use whole eggs and egg white first, with and not with, and later add the yolk, or the opposite? So I guess separated.
Christine, actually, if you make cakes, yes, they are different. If you make cakes, but if you make cookie, not much. You cannot check. I mean, make the differentiate. This is separating this. But if using whole eggs or egg whites only, then you can taste the different.
Okay.
You can taste the different because the egg yolk will be more rich, more good taste because of the yolks. But in the texture, you cannot see.
Okay.
Unless you make cakes, cakes for sure. You can check.
You can taste the difference, For good luck, let's do one last question, quick one. What cookie sheets work best for baking cookies?
I can recommend you Silpat.
Silpat, okay.
Silpat is a silicone mat. Yes, some people always say Silpat is very expensive. It's around $20 to $25 per seed.
Okay.
Each $20 to $25. But using silpat will make your product will be very, very perfect, excellent. And then silpat actually is not costly. Why? Because if you make baking pan and then you need to grease it, or maybe using baking paper, if you make 10 times, then you can do the calculation, is already expensive. But if using silpat, you can using more than 400 times. There is no other extra cost.
So you can reuse it, yeah?
Yeah, you can reuse it until 300 to 400 times.
Wow, okay, okay. Perfect. Well,
Okay.
I think well, we killed about 82 questions and we still have 78 more questions more. But what we will do is we will create either a video or answer via email. I think it's probably best to make a video to answer the rest of the questions. But thank you, Chef Louis, for this amazing presentation and tips. We really hope you received a lot of valuable information. And yeah, I guess that concludes the Q&A session. And yeah, also for all the attendees of this webinar, you can expect to receive an email with the recording of this webinar, as well as the presentation and an e-certificate. So before we close this webinar, I'd like to inform about our upcoming webinar on the 10th of June. This is part of our business series webinar called Remote Working is Here to Stay, Strategies that Ensure Your Success webinar. And this is mainly aimed at the food service as well as the food manufacturing industry. And it will be presented by Oki Seelan, who is a hospitality and performance coach. Since working from home is the new reality for many companies in both food manufacturing and food service sector, how do you make sure that you stay efficient and productive? So this webinar will basically cover all the common problems that comes with the work from home model and how to solve them and maintain an efficient and motivated workforce for your business. So this will be held on the 10th of June, Thursday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Jakarta, Indonesia time, or 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Philippine time. So to conclude this webinar, I want to give one final thank you to Mr. Louis Tanuhadi. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge as usual. It's been a lot of pleasure as usual, Chef. And also thank you to everyone who attended and participated this webinar. We really hope to see you again in the upcoming webinars. Don't forget to follow us on Tulip Chocolate Asia and on our Facebook Tulip Chocolate Asia page to get the latest updates. Make sure that you keep an eye out on our final email where we send all the additional information regarding to this webinar. So thank you all very much and have a great day ahead. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.